Hello, everybody. Happy 2023. This is a special Christmas, pre-New Year's, post-Christmas special before 2024 is being rung in. Is that how you say it? On midnight this Sunday. So we wanted to bring you guys a special episode. Alexandra's actually upstairs. I'm downstairs, but we're in the same house in Connecticut. She extended her stay, so we're together. But
Yes,
right as the podcast goes, we have to sort of do it separately.
we want you to see us all. I actually have a question now that we're going into it. What is your 2024 New Year's resolution? Because I personally, I think resolutions are kind of silly. I'm manifesting all year long. I don't know. I never do the workout thing because I work out all the time. I eat healthy. So I don't really have any resolutions in terms of things that are, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to start working out this year. I'm going to start doing this and that. And I feel like I live a very consistent life where I don't have any sort of resolutions, and everything I work for kind of happens throughout the year, and I'm manifesting and I'm working towards my goals. So I never really do resolutions, but do you have any, or what do you
I
think about
think that's a good question. I think I'm going to try to be a really good beamer person that does the beaming every day, the special device dad has. I'm going to really try to be consistent with that. And I'm going to try to just stop worrying about our dog's health. Of course, I'm going to be on top of JoJo's health, but I'm going to just enjoy every second with him, being 16 years old.
I agree. I think that's a good one. Like JoJo is so cute.
Yeah.
Maybe living more in the moment. I think my New Year's resolution is thinking less and living more in the moment. And like seriously, just thinking less and being present with
Yeah.
now.
And
Now.
not worrying about his health or anything, just taking things as it comes and being so grateful for everything I have in my life.
Yeah,
And
that's a
not
good.
looking too far ahead, although I always look at the future, but not looking too far ahead. So that's a great question. And for 2024, I'm just looking forward to, more exciting journeys, trips, great times with you guys and with the JoJo.
Oh yes, I want to travel more. So that's definitely one of mine in 2024. You're here to hear first. Who wants to go on a girls trip? Hit me up. I'm going to Europe with or without anybody else this summer. So that is definitely something I want to do, is travel more.
And you got to make sure you get your vacation though, right? Depending on
Right.
your
I get
vacation
some
time.
vacation time in. But yeah, so we're just gonna do a little Christmas catch up, end of the year. I think we should start with what we've been doing nonstop this week, which is watching Christmas movies. Like
Oh
that
my
is our
gosh.
thing.
So exhausting. Like, I find that like if I take notes, it's better. But then when I take notes, it's like a chore. And like when I did Dancing with the Stars, it was fine because, you see your episode and then that's it. But when you're watching a movie, who really wants to take notes? It's too like monotonous. So I'm going to wing this. We watched a lot of shows from Hallmark to Netflix. We actually went to a movie and I
And
would go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the issue we're having is that some movies, again, a lot of and most of the holiday movies have the same plot line, but it's how you do it. So either a new plot line or doing the original plot line with some sort of twist is a lot better than some boring movies. Like, what do you think happened with the mix? Like, I really like the one where it was a Catching Claus and Santa
Yeah.
Claus was young and hot. And it was like a journalist and a mystery and a reporter. And I thought that was a twist. You said, like, how could that be Santa Claus? This doesn't make any sense. But it was different.
Right. Yeah. I like ones that, of course, they always have the love stories, but they're not so predictable in a boring way. Like, it's okay to have a little predictability, but when it's so predictable and you're like, all right, this is what's happening, this is what's happening. I like when there's like more of a mystery to it. Like, so when we saw the Switched, or what was that?
Family Switch on Netflix.
That was great because there was an edge to it. First, it wasn't a love story, there was more to it. It was an adventure. Let's tell the viewers what that was, and then we'll compare it to the Santa Claus and the Cameras Beret one. I can never
Yeah,
say.
so Family Switch was a Freaky Friday and mixed with the 13 going on 30, which was the families all switched bodies with each other, all the members of the family. So the parents were the kids and the kids were the parents, and they learned kind of how not as easy as they think the other one has it. And then the dog was the baby. It was hilarious. It was so funny.
It was so fun. The dog was the baby, so the dog was like in the baby's bed, chewing the pacifier, sucking the pacifier. The baby was running like a dog. There was a lot of funny parts to it that, just you didn't predict was going to happen, right? And then how did they switch back? They were able to switch back by getting that, what did they do? I forget now. They,
Like some special stone, but you don't want to ruin it for everyone. Maybe
okay.
someone wants to watch it.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Like
true.
that's a
It's
fun
fun.
movie
That was a
versus
fun, yeah,
yeah.
family, not too lovey-dovey, just really fun. Loved who was in it. It was just a great, was, what Jen was in it.
Yeah, Jennifer Garner.
Yep. It was great. I loved her husband in it. It was just such a fun. And then the Santa one was predictable, but not predictable. There was adventureness and it was romantic. And it was like, how is this going to end? How is this possible? I didn't even know that was Santa. So I love that one. The Candace one was just so thoroughly unexciting to me. And I normally love her stuff. Did you agree with that or
Yeah,
not?
her daughter was the star of it on Great American Family Network, her new channel. But I just thought it was so boring. I was really expecting more. It was going to be Christmas throughout the ages of the 60s, the 90s, but we didn't get anything out of it. I felt like there was no storyline. I felt it was very slow and very boring, and it kind of made no sense.
Made no sense. I just felt it was like, oh, when is this going to be over? I'm waiting for the next one, which brings me to my favorite one of the ones we watched. There was two, the Lady of the 80s and the one we watched last night, which was called,
Holiday in the Vineyard. Those ones were so cute.
those were my two favorite. How about you?
Yeah, well, Ladies in the Eight of the 80s was such a great plot line. It had nothing to do really with Santa or anything like that. It was the most famous actresses from back in the day. What were their names again? You had
So
Lonnie
Morgan,
Fairchild.
Fairchild, who she got very heavy, but she's still beautiful. Beautiful. She was like, I would say, the Paris Hilton of, the 90s. She was like Paris Hilton of the 80s, right? She looks beautiful. Even if they had face work done, it depends on how the work's done. So, for example, Lonnie Anderson, your sister didn't think was beautiful. She thought she looked fake. I thought she looked exactly like she did many years ago in the
Yeah.
80s. She was gorgeous. She was Burt Reynolds' real love off screen, I believe after Sally Field, for many years. Don't remember if they were married, but she looked amazing. And Donna Mills, who's like 80, I don't know, 84. Was she 84, Donna Mills?
Oh yeah, Donna Mills. I think she was 83.
I mean, she looks fantastic.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. And then there was, who else was in that mix? There was,
Oh, Nicolette Sheridan was in it. But it was
yes,
a great
she's the
plot. They all
youngest.
played soap stars, which in real life they all are all soap stars, and they played
Yeah,
soap stars reuniting to film one more scene of their, soap opera that they were in back in the day. And it was
sure.
funny, it was cute, and I liked it. It was super like they made funny jokes about like their looks and just it was like old school Hollywood. Like I like how they talked about it. They were all about the glamour. They're like, no, we want to be glamorous because that's what was old Hollywood, was having that glamour and having looking good and being dramatic. And I thought it was so cute.
I loved it. I loved it. First, remember, I thought it was the movie 80 for Brady. Remember, I was like, is this 80 for Brady? And you're like, no, mom, it just has Lady of the 80s. It's nothing to do with being 80 years old. It was phenomenally fun to watch people be reunited, right? So it's kind of like you had me also watching, you and Olivia had me watching Road Trip of the Housewives. And the Housewives, they reunite, they were the Housewives of New York City. And then years later, now they have this thing where they take road trips together with the different housewife,
Right.
ensemble.
Well, it's not road trips, it's ultimate
Oh,
girls trip. So they fly to a destination. But
right.
that could be a
But
funny one, having them do a road trip.
yeah, that would be fun. I mean, I just think it's fun when you get to watch people that have retired
Yeah.
coming back and getting like going back together, kind of like, like the Brady Bunch, like when the
Right.
Brady Bunch was on for so many years and they reunited. I love things like that because that to me is more like reality TV, but in a way that I I'm not of the generation of reality TV. So for me, it's like reality television now, but seeing the people that I love so much back then. And
Right.
Nicolette Sheridan and Donna Mills were both on Knots Landing. If anyone out there remembers the show Knots Landing, that was like a night soap opera, like Dallas. Oh, that was the other woman that was on it. Was
Yes.
was she on that?
She was on Dallas. Yeah, she was and
In the 80s?
yes, and she hasn't done any work to herself, remember?
And
And
she was,
Christopher Nolan was on it too.
oh my gosh, with Brooke Shields from, what was that called? The Blue Lagoon. He looks very wrinkled. It just shows you, guys, you could go either way when you have work done. You can either look amazing and be like, wow, that work looks great. Or you can be like, oh gosh, that's a bad work gone bad. You know, that's just not good. I think Christopher Nolan had no work done. I think he just aged. And same with the woman that played his wife from Dallas. She was, what did I say her name was? I forget. Grace, or I forgot her name. She was JR's wife. She was the lead on Dallas. So to me, she did not look that great. She looked a little weathered. But again, I was comparing her not so fair to Lilani Anderson and Donna Mills. I have to be honest, Nicolette Sheridan was the youngest, and I didn't even think she looked as good as some of the older ones.
Right.
I don't know. She changed. She was also on the house, not the Housewives. What
Desperate
was
Housewives.
Desperate Housewives? Right.
Yes. And the woman from Dallas is Linda Gray.
Linda Gray, that's right. Yeah, she looked okay. She just, to me, she was more weathered than the other women. Like I said, if you look up Morgan Fairchild, she looks the way, and back then she was the Paris Hilton. She
Yeah.
was just exquisite. So I love the fact that they played in this. It was really fun. Then of course we saw the one last night that was fabulous. It was
Holiday in the Vineyard, and it had
fun.
Eileen Davidson, who was a soap star, and it had the
Fun.
guy who was a lead, who was on your soap opera, General Hospital. I love
Yep,
soap stars. I feel like, don't you feel like soap stars do such a great performance?
I
Just like I
do.
love their acting, their drama, the way they do characters. I think it's great.
I don't, yeah, I think they're just amazing the way they can be versatile. And I feel like a lot of times soap stars don't get that recognition. So I like to see when the soap stars are not just playing soap opera stars. I like to see them in other avenues of acting. And
Right.
Eileen Davison has hopped around now. I haven't watched my soap in over a year. I stopped watching General Hospital. I was watching it forever, but I used to watch Days of Our Lives and General Hospital. And she was on Days of Our Lives, and she's also went back to Young and the Restless. But I used to dabble in like As the World Turns, One Life to Live, a lot of other fun things. I would like have my normal soaps, but then I would dabble in other ones. And so I did get a taste of some of the other ones, like what Kelly Ripa was on. And I don't know, there was one's Another World. I forgot the name Kelly Ripa was on, but she was
Is it
on.
As the World Turns?
No, she was not As the World Turns. I think she wasn't One Life to Live.
Bold and the Beautiful?
All My Children. She was in
Oh,
All My
All My Children. Yeah, that's where she
Yeah,
met
All
Mom.
My Children.
But so when we were talking about Ultimate Girls Trip, and we saw you love Luann. You
I
think Luann
do.
looks amazing. So even there's some women who have aged gracefully, and
Yes.
you thought they all looked so much younger than they really are.
Yes. Yes. And I was like, it's been that many years. They're not, because I stopped watching like Dancing with the Stars when I started. I stopped. I did the same thing with, they were the very first housewife shows I watched, which was the New York City Housewives. I watched it for many seasons and then I stopped.
So
So,
what did you think about everyone when you saw it? We only watched
well,
one episode. What were your thoughts
I
about the
was
initial?
missing Bethany Frankel. I didn't understand that. You explained that to me, her riff with them. And then I was missing Jill Zarin, which I did see Jill Zarin recently at the Playhouse when they were talking about doing, why wasn't she on that one, by the way? Why wasn't Jill?
Honestly, I don't know why she wasn't invited. They invited Kelly, and they invited what's her face? Kelly and Kristen.
Okay.
But we're supposed to be a legacy with Jill Zarin, part of the legacy cast, and they were all supposed to do a new show. And apparently, allegedly, Jill was asking for way too much money, and then the whole show just got canned.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't know what to expect. I like Jill Zarin. I do think that woman on the show, I was shocked that they've all had like these husbands that cheated on them. The one that I said reminds me of Kathy Lee Gifford.
Oh,
She,
Ramona.
yeah, I was shocked that she was cheated on. I feel like Jill Zarin should have been on the mix. It would have been good. I did not know that other woman, Kristen or whatever her name
Yeah,
was.
and
I
Kelly.
thought that other woman, I did see her more recently, the one that's what's her name?
Dorinda?
Dorinda. I did see her 2 years ago. I watched a couple episodes of that one with Olivia. I wasn't that thrilled with it, so I really didn't watch it. Really, the only one I'm watching now going forward is The Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's the only one I'm interested in, to be honest. Maybe Jersey, but I have really no interest in, unless the New York City cast gets better. I like The Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
It's
So
interesting to see how it changes so much because I'm jumping in from taking a break for many years and you guys have never stopped. So you really see the way it's changed and the turns that are good, the turns that are bad, it makes a difference because you're probably disappointed in some of the way the plots have come out, even though they're real plots, just the way things have turned and spiraled downwards in some episodes and gone upwards and they've replaced characters. So yeah, it was fine. I think I will continue to watch if you guys are watching the rest of this weekend I'll watch
Okay,
it.
then you know what? Yeah, let's get into Beverly Hills then, since that's what you
Okay.
really know. Let's hop into
Okay.
Beverly Hills.
So the Beverly Hills, I watched all 8 episodes. It was a lot of work. It took me a couple weeks, but I really enjoyed watching it. I came to a revelation for the viewers that are out there because, again, I had never watched The Housewives. I watched a couple of them a few years ago, and then I took a break, and I never watched them sequentially. So you had me watch this season, and I caught up on 8 episodes. And what I found in my mind is that I really like Kyle Richards. And I think that Kyle Richards, this whole thing with, is she a lesbian? Is she having, an affair? What resonated for me was when she was talking to her therapist. That was her therapist, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. When she's talking to her therapist, she had really, really talked about the fact she missed her friend that committed suicide so desperately. And what resonated for me for that comment and the way she was interacting was that perhaps this relationship she has with that singer is not necessarily a romantic relationship, but a replacement for her great friendship that was separate from these other housewives, nothing to do with them outside of that circle. And when she took her own life, not only was she losing that beautiful friendship, but it was such a terrible loss and shock the way she died. She didn't expect it. So that this new relationship with this singer may be a replacement for just more of a deeper meaning in a relationship with a friend, nothing sexual. How about you? Did you think
Yeah,
that?
I had that exact thought. Like when I
You
was watching
did?
it,
Oh
I
my
did.
gosh.
I had that exact thought when I was watching it. I saw it in a whole new light, and I'm like, maybe it's
Wow.
something to do with the relationship. I genuinely felt that this is like, oh my God, she's replacing her friend who passed away. I think
Yes.
wants a best friend and wants to be bonded again, and is replacing that relationship that she had because for whatever reason, maybe she's not getting it from Mauricio, or it's just not the same. But I think she went to such an extreme of now she's spending all of her time with Morgan. Morgan has, it's like when you first get a new best friend, you put all your energy into them. But it's weird that she's like done with Mauricio. That I don't think they want to try to get back together. She spends all of her free time with Morgan. So
Right.
it's like, what is the end goal? Do you want to be romantic? How far do you want this friendship to go? Do you want to just be divorced and hang out with your girlfriends? Like, what is, I don't
And
understand.
yeah, and I also felt like that new friendship she has, who's the new woman that's on it,
So
is
that's her new neighbor, Anne Marie, but they're
Maria
not even
Marie.
really good
Not
friends.
as, yeah, she's not as a replacement as, I think the thing for Kyle Richards is she wants somebody that's outside the circle of the, like I just said, of the housewives. She doesn't want just to have a good friend in that circle. She wants to keep that separate.
Well, what
And
about Dorit? What do you think about Dorit? Because her and Dorit were like this, and Dorit feels like she's been pushed to the
yeah,
side.
I don't feel this, it's the same with her and Dorit. I think she loves Dorit of the friends in that circle, but I think that this has taken a toll on her, the loss of her friend. And I think she doesn't feel 100% like she can trust Dorit the way she could trust Morgan, the singer Morgan. I think the other lady also is very obnoxious to Kyle Richards. I don't care for her. She's my
Sudden?
Sudden. She's my least favorite. My least favorite. I just find her to be all about Sudden, and she's kind of obnoxious and says things that are inappropriate, and she doesn't let things go. And I really have a fondness for Kyle. I do. I mean, I think we were talking to our friend today, Tina. Why does Tina not like Kyle? What was she saying to you
Oh,
today?
she likes Kyle.
She does, okay. Because I thought she found her annoying, because I find her so, to be honest, I feel Kyle is the most down to earth of everyone. I like her the most. I really do. I find her the most down to earth of all of them. And I think it's really weird that Sutton is making such a big deal of that she's lost weight, she doesn't want to drink, Kyle, and she just doesn't leave her alone.
Right. And don't you think it's weird that she was like all of her problems, they flash back to when Dorit got robbed at gunpoint and Sutton said, oh, my stylist can't be flown in from Paris. Like, and then she was like, my ex-husband, I have to go to court for more money now. And those were her issues. That was like
Right,
very.
right. I agree. I agree.
And what do
Same.
you think about Erica and Denise Richards fight?
I like Erica way better than Sutton. And I feel like Erica has been growing on me more and more. That She seems a lot, I like Erica way better than I like Sutton. And I think Erica and Denise Richards' fight was ridiculous. I think Denise was whacked out of her mind on drugs. I read an article. I don't know how she can say she just drank a little before she had the dinner with them. To me, she was totally on meth and she mixed it with alcohol. I mean, she just looks like a crazy woman, and I don't like her. I don't care for her. I think the whole thing with the OnlyFans for her daughter is inappropriate. I just can't believe she's okay with the, if you want to tell the viewers, if anyone needs to be caught up about that little fight, I thought that was crazy. I mean, these were really good episodes for me to understand and get connected to what's going on out there. But you want to fill people in about the OnlyFans?
Yeah,
I
so
thought that
Denise
was
Richards,
ridiculous.
yeah, and her daughter both have OnlyFans, and Denise did it, I think, to show that she supports her daughter who's on OnlyFans. And Erica said, "Who makes more money, you and Sammy, or you or Sammy?" Turns out it's Denise. But the whole fight was that it was inappropriate for Erica to talk about threesomes and sex in front of Denise's children a few seasons ago. And then she made a comment, Erica, like, "Well, your children already know what threesomes are if they haven't had one already." And Denise was appalled. But then now your daughter's on OnlyFans. So I don't know if it's like, well, at the time they were younger, but you're being a hypocrite because you're on OnlyFans, your daughter is on OnlyFans. Are you really holding a grudge that Erica mentioned threesomes in front of them years ago?
Right, right. Like I find and Denise, it's just I don't look up to her as a good mother, role model. I think I didn't even know the point of her coming to that dinner that
Right.
night. Like, is this something that she would want to come back to? Why did she come to the dinner? Did she want to clear the air? They were having dinner, and then I did not get the whole pot thing. They were putting pot in, but they were taking orders of who wants pot in their food or something. And Denise thought that maybe somebody slipped pot into her food, and that was her excuse for why she was acting so whacked out. Can you elaborate on why she was at this dinner, Alexandra?
I don't even know why she was there, maybe for the drama in particular, but I think it's so crazy that she wants to stick with saying that she was completely sober and she has no idea what happened because that was so not normal behavior. I want someone to call her out like Crystal. The issue people have with Crystal is that she doesn't say much on screen, but then in her confessionals and in interviews, she has all these things to say. But do you feel in the moment Crystal brings anything?
I feel like Crystal brings nothing in the moment. I think she doesn't want to get anyone pissed off, and that either she's not able to gather her thoughts and think how to respond quick enough, or she's afraid to get into any rifts or confrontations with any of the women. So she just waits till she's off the internet, on television, interacting with them to comment on her thoughts. I don't know if she needs time to gather her thoughts or if it's really about she just doesn't want to rub anyone the wrong way. So that's my thought with Crystal.
Right.
But I still think Crystal is not annoying. She just doesn't bring much to the show. And then this Anne Marie, why are they adding Anne Marie to the in the mix? Is that
Right.
because
I wanted a new person, but I thought she was ridiculous going after Sutton over her esophagus. I thought that
yeah,
was so weird and rude.
right? Like all of a sudden she had to bring up her that she's a nurse and you know, let's try to figure out why you're making this up, Sutton. Because obviously she didn't believe Sutton had a real issue with her throat. I did feel when Sutton went into the room privately at the dinner with Kyle, she started all over again rehashing stuff, and it was really rude to what she did to Kyle. I'm telling you, I like Kyle the most. I find Kyle is really a lost soul right now, and I also find that her husband is kind of annoying me. Like at first I thought he was adorable, but when he started that whole thing with the tattoo, I didn't think it was his place. The way he said it, I just felt like he was being very controlling about the tattoo.
Right. And then what did you think about Morgan when you saw her on screen? What do you think of their friendship? Like when you see them
I
interact?
don't see any chemistry. I just see a fun friendship, someone that's younger. Because you have to remember too, she also has a daughter. Kyle Richards has a daughter from the first marriage or relationship,
Yeah.
Farah, who's
Yeah.
in her what, 30s?
Yeah.
And Morgan's in her 30s, isn't she? Or
Morgan's like, I think 27 or 28 or
oh
20,
wow, she's even younger. Okay, that's a little bit,
but a few years.
yeah. But I just feel like maybe she feels like she feels more youthful and maybe she's having more of a connection with this young woman because she's just starting out becoming successful, and maybe she reminds her of herself, Kyle, when she was starting out, but yet she's not her daughter, she's not going to be rude to her, but yet it's a safe place to have that friendship. and it's also exciting because,
And,
yeah,
well, I was gonna say her mom had died of breast cancer. And Morgan just got a double mastectomy because she had the gene. She's
whose
also,
mom died? Kyle Richards?
yeah, like she had cancer. And so I think, the breast cancer thing connects them. She's also making a documentary on Morgan's life. She's producing that. Also, they're both sober. They both work out. So common interests.
So you're saying that that's very, very important. You're saying that Kyle Richards had a drinking problem.
No, she said she just quit because they made
Oh,
her.
and but the other woman, Morgan, was an alcoholic.
I don't know exactly. Maybe, I think.
And Kyle Richards' mother died of breast cancer. And Morgan had breasts removed because she has the gene,
Mhm.
but she doesn't have breast cancer.
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay. So I think, and then what is this fascination with the tattoos? Kyle had tattoos, but she
For
just,
the first time with Morgan, she's getting all of them with Morgan.
oh,
But don't you think it's weird that she put a K on Morgan's body? But in Kyle's defense, Morgan has so many tattoos, she doesn't really care.
yeah. And she's looking, I go back to the fact she's looking to get another really good friend, not trying to replace the friend that died, but that's what resonated. She's just really not in a good place when her friend died and how she felt so betrayed. She felt it was the one safe place. So she's looking for that in another friendship. Take away the age, she probably feels she has a lot in common. So her first tattoos were because of Morgan? I thought
Mhm.
she already had tattoos.
No.
Okay, so that's interesting to me. Very
Yeah.
interesting. And then what do you think about Darcel? Do you like
Garcelle.
Dar
Garcelle.
Darcel?
Garcelle with a G.
Oh, Garcel, sorry.
Yeah.
Garcel. What do you think of
I like
Garcel?
her. I think she,
I
no, I
like,
think she really says a lot of good stuff. She like kind of keeps it super real and brings to
yes,
the table things that other people don't want to talk to. Like when she said, your marriage, Kyle, that's what Sutton's hinting at. I liked
right.
that.
And I like that they show her as a mother, where they don't really show much of the others being a parent. I really like to see that. It's genuine, good parenting and how she has time with her twin boys. And I didn't know she was an actress. I think it's wonderful. I really like her. I think she's classy. So yeah, I really was happy to watch that. And
Do you
then
think
the other,
he talks too much?
do I think who talks too much?
Talks too much?
Dorit? I think Dorit likes to hear herself talk, yes. And I think Dorit is very control freak. I still don't really get the relationship with her and her hubby. I find her very, very affected and just, I don't know, something about her. I know she comes from like a part of Connecticut that's not even that nice, either Bristol, Connecticut or New Britain. I grew up in West Hartford and I'm flabbergasted how she got this role and how she came about into this whole world of the housewives. But she's just very serious and she's very uptight. Find her very uptight. I don't care for her too much. I do.
Okay, you hate to read. That's good to know. I like to read.
I don't hate her, but I don't love her.
Hmm.
I find her kind of, yeah. I still don't get the sense that she's so in love with her husband. I just find,
Well, she's starring in Peter Pan with Boy George, and I think it's in London.
you're kidding. She's an
No,
actress?
she is now.
Oh my goodness. Next thing you know it, she'll be on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh gosh.
Can you imagine?
You know what? They might do that because they have Mauricio now. They're going to bring another person.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dancing with the Stars, congratulations to Brittany and Daniel. They're engaged.
Yay. I was so happy to hear that. You told me that today on our long walk. We've
Yes.
had so many walks this week, sort of like talking about when do we want to do the podcast? We want to wait. We want to wait. We want to do it. But then we're like, every day, different things happen. Let's wait till the end of the week before Alexandra leaves so we could talk about the latest news. Let's tell the viewers. He doesn't hear, he was on Coda, the movie Coda, and his partner was that beautiful woman, Brittany.
Yep.
They fell in love on Dancing with the Stars. And you had told me over Thanksgiving they were dating. I had no idea. Today, you told me they're engaged.
Yes. That's so cute. What a love story came out of Dancing with the Stars.
Do you think he popped the question or her?
I think he did. I know nowadays you never know, but I think he did. But I also think, is this like one of the first couples partner? I think this is one of the first partner contestants to get together because all the dancing pros are together. But this feels like it's one of the first partner contestants to be
You're
together.
right. Well, there's been people that have fallen in love with their partners, like Max and Aaron. You're right. But there's definitely been partners that have
Oh,
fallen with their instructors, but I don't recall someone getting actually married,
right.
dancing with their instructors. So this is very exciting.
That's so cute.
Very exciting. So congratulations, they're a beautiful couple. I can't wait to see how they get married, and she knows sign language. I wonder if she learned sign language because of him or if she already knew it. She
Right.
does it so well. And I did see that movie. It was wonderful recently with a good friend of mine, Mary. So if anyone hasn't seen it, go see it. Definitely go see it. Going back to some other stuff that you and I watched this week, let's tell the viewers, was there any other things that you can remember that you liked on television before we talk about the movie?
On television, I'd say that's probably it, right?
Okay.
Xmas was cute on Amazon Prime.
Well,
Again,
we
same
loved
story.
the vineyards. The
The
vineyard,
Vineyard one, Holiday in the Vineyard with the soap stars, yeah.
right? We love that. Yeah, we talked about that.
And then we saw Anyone But You in theaters, which was
That was the
me.
one I loved. That was so fun.
But you don't like Sydney Sweeney.
It's not that I don't like her. I didn't realize that she was in the first season of White Lotus. I don't find anything so special about her. Her male lead was gorgeous, but in terms of Cindy Sweeney,
Sydney,
Cindy, she's okay. I just didn't find her to be that believable in that,
in what way?
in the way that she just seems like a young girl, nothing special, nothing jumping out at me in terms of her acting skills. I did recognize her from, I saw a few minutes of that Euphoria with Olivia, but I never watched Euphoria. I watched maybe 10 minutes of it. So I really don't know so you know more than I do. Does she have a good mix? Could she play a lot of different roles? Or do you think she has the same type of acting, you know?
A lot of people said, like Olivia said, she's really perfect for Euphoria and for White Lotus because she had that character, personality. And even when she talks in real interviews, it's sultry, it's sexier. But I guess it wasn't believable to be like the kind of, dorky rom-com girl, like she's in law school. And I don't know. I don't know if that was like people see Sydney Sweeney as a rom-com girl, but I liked it. I thought she did a good job, and I believed it.
Yeah, so because I don't remember her in White Lotus very much, I only remember a little bit. I thought that's before maybe she really made her big break, or maybe that's where she made her big break. I think you guys could compare her acting. I don't know. She was fine in it. I thought it was weird, like the way it started, that I didn't understand the whole, she didn't want to be in law school. It was kind of weird. I would have liked to have seen her as a lawyer or as something. I thought it was weird that we didn't really have a sense of her age and like why? Why did she not want to be a lawyer? So that plot was a little weird, but I loved the movie. I thought it was adorable. I don't know. I just didn't see her in
You
it.
love Glenn Powell. You thought he was so cute.
Oh my God. And she's got a great figure. Don't get me wrong. She's an adorable figure, um, which you told me is all natural, which is impressive because she looks very small. But I loved the movie. I did love the movie. Loved it way better than the Hallmark movie. We've watched so much. Tonight we're going to play an Elvis board game with Dad that you bought. So we're not going to watch any movies tonight. We're going to just go get Asian food and play a board game. Maybe we'll sneak in more of the road trip.
Yeah,
Ultimate Girls Trip. You're leaving tomorrow.
Okay, let's talk Vanderpump. You watched the little Vanderpump special to get ready for the new season. What were your thoughts on all the players?
Hello. That was the best thing for you to tell me to watch it. Not only to get my butt moving on the treadmill, but I watched the entire 30 minutes. So easy and such an incredible, fun-filled way to catch up because I never watched Vanderpump Rules in the past. So for me, I can't believe the way it was so well done. The way 30 minutes got me over the last 10 years. It really enlightened me as to what these cast members went through in the last 10 years. And I was very impressed. I said to you at one point during the commercial, I got to, watch the rest, but I don't see Lala. And you assured me Lala was going to come into the mix. So I got to see a couple of characters that I had never seen because I did watch a little bit of it this year, just a teeny bit, never really. So I didn't know these other characters. I thought it was so well done. I thought Tom Sandoval, wow, he looks like a changed physical man that had work done. It does not look like the same little boy with the mustache, with the face change. He looks like he's had work done. The way he speaks, to me, he doesn't look like the same person. And I got a glimpse into some of the other people that I would never expected them to be that way. The way Ariana got to meet him, weird seeing the beginning of their romance, having not really watched it and seeing how they connected, and also was surprised how Ariana did lie that they got together, because I guess apparently he brought a girlfriend in from the South. Oh, that was Jax.
Yeah, Tom was dating Kristen.
That's right. It was in Kristen. And they just, I don't understand why they were such liars. Like,
I know.
I understand that he lied, but seeing Ariana lie like that really, that was a disappointment. I felt from that. So
What do you
much
think about Sheena and Lala?
Well, that was interesting. That was really interesting because you got to see the early years of how they interacted. What do you think?
Yeah, they weren't friends. They were not friends. Lala was on the outs with all the girls. So wasn't that interesting to see?
And to be like they would never bond again, especially because Lala had the baby first, right? And then Sheena had a miscarriage, right? And then their girls ended up close in age.
Mhm.
To see them on the other side being like not only friends, but doing things as families with their kids together, like Lala and Sheena's husband, Brock.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. Any other questions about?
Katie and Tom divorced. What did you think? Did you see Katie and Tom get married? Tom Schwartz and Katie?
Did they show them getting married? I can't remember.
I don't know, but they
I don't
did
think
get
they showed them get married, but they showed them together in the early years. And she had a different look. She had blonde hair, different personalities. I really feel like I didn't see them together, even from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else was on that? They didn't really show too much of Lisa Vanderpump, did they? On that 30-minute special. I did think it was funny that she's like, everyone slept together. And if I was to take out people that did that, we'd have no show. I thought that was riveting to hear that. And trying to think, yeah, I had asked you after I watched it, what happened to these other characters? They faded away.
Yeah, they got fired. Jax, Brittany, Stassi were all fired. What did you think of them? What did you
Well,
think
what
of
about
Jax?
the other one? There was the woman that you said that was on it, that now she's since had 2 kids and she was with Jack.
That's Stassi. Yeah, that's Stassi.
Cassie. Yeah, I'd love to have seen her stay on.
Yeah, she's great.
Why did she leave? She seemed very good.
Got fired. Yeah, but she's really, really cute in real life. Like her and her husband, her family's adorable. I would have been nice to see her be followed. But what about Brittany and Jax? What did you think about
I
that?
didn't see them either way because I never knew Jax. I never saw Jax at Sir. You never filled me in about Jax. So I just think Stassi and Jax were together, right? At some point, I think they were a better couple. I think Stassi would have been a great character, strong character. What I was going to say was earlier is the British guy, and I'm so sorry I keep bringing in all the guys' names.
James.
I find him a joke because he proposed to that girl.
Raquel.
Proposed to her, had a fling with Lala. Like, what's going on? He's very hard to believe. And now I feel like he's with Allie because that's safe. I don't see him with Allie at all.
That's so interesting.
Just from a looks perspective, as well as personality, I don't see him with Allie at all.
Yeah, and now she's on this upcoming season heavily. I think she's like, that's what happened. He got with Raquel, and then Raquel became on the show. And the same thing's happening. Now he's dating Allie, and Allie's on the show.
That's right. Yeah. I just don't see it.
But okay, we're staying tuned because the new season starts in a couple of weeks. So we definitely have to watch that and break it all down.
I am so proud of myself. I really was happy to be able to watch that. I mean, it came at a great time. I guess it's their 10-year anniversary. Do you know if they're going to do anything for the anniversary to celebrate?
Well, it's already been 10 years. So season 11 is,
right.
Yeah, this is about to be season 11.
So to commemorate the 10 years, do you think Lisa Vanderpump threw them a party? I thought they
Honestly, I don't think so, but I think it was such a terrible 10 year. I think it was a terrible year because of the cheating. So I think everyone was in shambles. That's a really good point. If the cheating didn't happen, would they have had a 10-year celebration? That would have been a good storyline. 10 years of, I guess, how can you do that with the show, on the show? But you're right. I think because of the scandal, they didn't have really time to look at it in a positive light.
And it's interesting, when you say bad things happen and then good things come out of it, Ariana was cheated on and she got this invitation to do Dancing with the Stars. Do you think they asked her, or do you think she just wanted to do it and signed up?
I think they asked her because she's became such a popular figure these last few months. They're like, oh my God, that would boost our ratings. Back when this all happened last year.
It's amazing. When you think about Amanda Klutz, I always talk about, husband was so ill with COVID, and then she became a household name. Same thing with Ariana. It's amazing that, a lot of times bad things happen to great people, and then from that, amazing things come out of it. So I'm really excited to see, Ariana in Chicago on Broadway. So I was really happy you had me watch that. So thank you for putting that out there and letting me watch that and having me, catch up with the Housewives.
Yes, this has been so fun, and we can move on to some breaking news now. I know we wanted to talk about sleep divorce, so why don't you take that away?
So sleep divorce is really crazy. I started listening on the radio and reading about it. Cameron Diaz is supporting this whole thing of sleep divorce. Cameron Diaz says that she has separate bedrooms with her and her husband, and they have an amazing relationship, but she supports full-heartedly the sleep divorce where people have separate bedrooms and they use the bedrooms just to basically have conjugal visits, and that it's important to have separate bedrooms. I was listening on CNN, ironically, after that, they had a psychiatrist on, Dr. Robbie Lowe, who's very well known, and I've listened to her for many years. And she said it's really not good to just say do sleep divorce because people can give up in their relationships and stop trying. She feels you got to do it case by case, and there's ways to have separateness in a household, but to just give up and say we need separate bedrooms because you snore. Sometimes somebody needs a CPAP. Sometimes somebody just needs to take a break. I can't remember all the things she labeled, but she said it's an easy cop out if you do sleep divorce. Like if you just say, let's get separate bedrooms, because then what can happen? People can lose the spark. They can lose the intimacy, and it doesn't really set a good example about marriage. It's not that she's saying don't do separate bedrooms, but what she's saying is sometimes there's ways to conquer the issues you have in the bedroom without sleeping separately. And I really 100% agree with that.
Right.
Like my husband, he was a big snorer, and he'll be the first to admit it would keep me up. So what did he do? He got a CPAC, and my nights are so quiet now. But yet I love the fact that we're still in the same bedroom. To me, separate houses, if you can be together and still have a great relationship and make things work and turn things that you think are impossible into positive stuff, I think that's really a test for a really great marriage. Everything works differently for everyone, and marriages work differently. Sometimes people have long distance relationships. That's not something I would do, but I just feel like it's too easy to say sleep divorce and have separate bedrooms.
Right. I mean, yeah, you have to be together. I just think that's such a cop out that now you're not even going to sleep in the same bedroom. Like you said, it's okay to take maybe a break if, I don't know, someone's sick and you want to go sleep in the other bedroom or whatever. But that's such a huge part of marriage. I feel like living in the same bedroom, that's so weird when couples have their own rooms. And I feel like it's the beginning of them having their own lives. And I read a bunch of comments one time, and half the women said it ruined my marriage. We became roommates after that. And other people say it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
I could not agree more. I think that, like, again, you hear about these relationships where one husband is in one coast, the wife is in the other, and their marriages work great because they don't have to see each other, they don't have to cook. I don't know if that's a real test of a marriage. Same thing with intimacy and being in the same bedroom. And I'm not saying just about sex, but like just being in separate bedrooms, that's weird to me.
Yeah.
Why are you married then? I Love Lucy, you would see separate beds because that's the way they did in those days. They couldn't portray people in the same bed.
Right.
You just couldn't. But now just get a bigger bed, get the CPAC, man up like my husband, and do what's right, or woman up. Get that CPAC out there. Do what you need to do to take care of your health. It's not just about being a good husband or a good wife and compromising, but it's about taking care of your health. Because honestly, my husband will tell you firsthand, if you don't do the CPAC and you have sleep apnea like he does and his is mild, it can lead to stopping your breathing, and it could lead to death. It's very dangerous.
Yeah.
So just a little medical advice from the Debbie Belushi side. And I also want to say a couple good things and sad things. Let's talk about something sad first, something controversial, and then good. We'll end it with good news for
Sure.
our podcast. So something sad. There was this wonderful actor I talked to earlier in the podcast who I saw him when I used to scroll quickly through you know, the different soap operas. He was on not one, I don't know if it was One Life to Live or all, I think it was All My Children with Kelly Ripa. And he was this wonderful actor. Do you remember his name, Alexandra? I don't remember. He's been on Blue Bloods. He's been on television shows. He died, I think it was a short illness, and I don't remember. I think it,
He
yes,
died of cancer, or was it
they're
cancer?
not saying what type of cancer. And for me, I always like to,
Kamar. Kamar
what?
de Reyes. Kamar, his name was.
Amar St. Royos. Yeah. He died of cancer. Do you know what type? I hate when they don't. To me, it makes a difference. People will say, well, why do you know the type? Why do you need to know how he died of the type of cancer? I'm one of those people because I get a little neurotic about my health. I want to know. Was it a short-lived cancer? Was
It
it something?
doesn't say, just he said he died on Christmas Eve, which is very sad because I feel like now it's also going to be the day that their dad died. He had two twins.
Two twins and an older son. And when I looked into his background, he did a lot of acting. He was on
Yeah.
a lot of shows. And so to me, that was really sad. Again, he's not someone I followed a lot, but it was like a familiar face from scrolling from soap opera to soap opera. Because I did soap opera scrolling. Okay. I was a soap opera scroller. But like my two favorites were Days of Our Lives and General Hospital. In the olden days, that's what I loved. And then I would like dabble in As the World Turns. I would dabble Bold and the Beautiful, a show called Santa Barbara, just all these shows. But I went back eventually to General Hospital, and now I don't watch any soaps. I feel bad.
Yeah, but
Anyway,
that was very sad.
very sad. A thing that was really interesting to me that I just read was one of my favorite icons, Cher. Cher, who is like amazing. I talked about her in the last podcast. She was on the Jingle Ball. She was amazing. I love her. Oh my God. She has an issue. I didn't remember that she had a son. She had a son from Altman, her husband of like 3 or 4 years, second husband after Sonny Bono. I forgot the first name. Do you remember? Altman is the last. Altman. He's a singer. He was a big rocker. Can you look it up for me? Altman. I don't remember his first name. He died. He died of liver disease. I think he was a big drinker.
Greg.
Greg Altman. They have a son that's now like in his 30s or 40s. And it kind of sounds like a Britney Spears thing, where this son has a girlfriend and she was in recovery. He's got some mental health challenges and he's in recovery for drugs, I think, and mental health. And I think she's afraid that he's using all his money and that the girlfriend is going to take all the money too. So Cher wants to do the conservatorship route. Am I saying route? I think it's route.
The route.
Route.
She's another one. That's so sad. But his dad had substance abuse problems too. So I wonder if it's in genetics. But the fact that she has to conservatorship him right now was like so sad. I know there was that whole thing with the kidnapping in the hotel room where apparently Cher, I think, hired someone to kidnap him. I think she wanted to keep him away from his girlfriend or wife.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Then again, I didn't know she had a son.
I
thought she only had her daughter that's now a son. Chaz.
No.
Chaz was Chastity.
Yes,
and that was a woman that became a guy. And so she has a son. So now she has two sons. I didn't know she had the other son, though, the older son, a younger son, because Chaz is older. So I wonder if it's going to be the Britney Spears route. I'm really fascinated about that. The other thing I wanted to talk about.
We should talk about Celine Dion because we
Yes.
love Celine Dion. She's another musical icon. And I'm very confused with her having stiff person syndrome because she was seen at a hockey game a little bit ago and she looked okay. And she was meeting the players, shaking hands. And then her sister comes out and says that she has no movement. But why is her sister coming out and saying that?
I know. And I read something and watched Entertainment Tonight, but I watched something where the sister just said she's taking care of her and she's not doing well. That, her uncontrollable muscle spasms are really, really preventing her to live life to the fullest. It's not just about her not being able to sing, which to me, that's what she identifies with. That's what we all identify her as. And even if she could never sing again, I would hope that she'd still have a wonderful life and live without pain. And what my fear is, it's sounding like not only are we never going to be able to hear her sing, which breaks my heart because she's my ultimate, as you know, favorite singer ever,
Right.
ever, that she can't even live pain free. And that's really what I'm worried about, Alexandra. I'm worried that she is going to die young. I got to read about it. She's like a year younger than me. And it's such a tragedy that the thing she loves most is her children and singing. And I don't know if she can really fully live without pain. So that's something I want to look more into. Years ago, Dad and I, it was so funny. We saw she was playing in Vegas and we did a timeshare, like a weekend timeshare where we paid just for the flight and the seats so we could stay for free. And we knew we weren't doing the timeshare, but we wanted to do that for free. So we would get to stay in the condo and we listened to their spiel so that we could be up close. And I was in the second row. First time I've ever seen her because she's never come to MSG. It's too small of a venue for her. And she was doing residency in Las Vegas. When I tell you I was in the second row, Dad was in the sixth row, and it was my favorite concert. I was so happy. She had just had the twins, and never in a million years would I imagine that this poor woman, it's so unfair, is struck with this horrible, debilitating disease.
I
So
know.
our prayers go out to her and to her children. And I really wish her nothing but freedom from pain. But I'm worried that it's not going to end well. So that's something we need to keep on top of. She's a beautiful soul and talented. And she sung with Elton John and that Titanic. That was just something that every song she's ever sang on her own or redone has been beautiful to me. So I didn't want to mention our prayers are with her and her family. Anyway, we want to talk about good news as we're coming to an end of this podcast for 2023. Alexandra, you saw some really amazing story of a Chihuahua on the freeway
That
running.
was saved. It was running down the freeway, and I think all the cars stopped to save him. Like they all did a collective effort to get out of their cars, make sure traffic had stopped to save him.
Wasn't that in New York City?
Yes.
It was running down, and people said they were like letting everybody know, don't hit the Chihuahua. And at the end, I thought it was hysterical. When they captured the Chihuahua, he like bit them or something.
Oh yes, they said dramatic. They called it like the dramatic rescue. It was like a very dramatic Chihuahua, and it went all around New York City. And yeah, then he was like all feisty when they caught him, which is so cute. That makes me happy.
Such great news. I don't know. I think they reunited him with his owner.
Yes.
Because I always love to look at
All
good news.
gone wild, New York Post called it. And they, runaway Chihuahua named Bean made a run for it on the Staten Island Expressway before he was nabbed by motorists in a dramatic video. That is so cute. I'm so glad. Someone said, when I saw that dog, my instincts just kicked in, and the only thing on my mind was to make sure that dog got to safety. This one girl said. That's awesome. Yeah, and they got the Chihuahua was so cute.
I also read another good news story because I'm always following animal stories. And I got to find something so amazing that was just beautifully. Oh, this is in my way. I also read that I believe it was in Atlanta, Georgia. It was a good news story to me. They cleared the entire shelter. I think it was Atlanta. I'm not sure if it was Atlanta or Jersey. So, but it doesn't matter. They cleared the entire shelter and no animals were left for this week. So it was the first time in like history that they were able to.
Christmas miracle. All the dogs and animals got adopted.
I love that. And you really wonder how many of these animals get adopted during the New Year's Eve time, because, we're coming into New Year. So it's just a fabulous story.
We want to leave you all with some happy news as we go into our 2024. So we love all of our listeners, and this was just a fun way to end the podcast with some pop culture and things that have been going on this year. And I mean, 2024 is right around the corner, so we can't wait to talk in the new year and hear what you guys want to hear us talk about, and ring in the new year. We'll see how that goes. I mean, it's always an adventure in pop culture, so I know we'll have a lot to talk about.
And we're also looking forward to next week because The Bachelor the Golden Bachelor is getting married to Teresa Nist. And we wanted to have Teresa on, but under contract right now, we can't interview her, but we're thinking down the road, we'll be able to offer some type of interview because I'd love to have her and her daughter on. I do know Teresa's niece, Suzanne, who is a client of my husband's. So she's going to talk to her about having her on the podcast, whether we talk to her just about mother-daughter things or her experience on the Golden Bachelor. We're so looking forward. So everyone tune in to the Golden Bachelor next week. It's going to be on ABC. My friend is going to it since she's the niece. And I can't wait to have more shows to review and talk with, all of you guys about all the reality television and all the things that pop up, good and bad. Hopefully more good, but we know they'll be bad too. So happy New Year to everybody. See you in 2024.
See you
Bye.
then. Bye.
Bye.